Several poll workers detailed hostilities from others that prevented them from doing their jobs on election night and during the recount. One witness, a former worker who was delivering for the United Mailing Service, alleged he was told that his post office planned to backdate over 100,000 mail-in ballots. When he asked if he would get in trouble for the missing ballots, an employee responded,
The employee said, no, I wouldn't, as long as they were postmarked for the 3rd. And then she hesitated for a moment and said that's why they had us do that, referring to USPS employees. I didn't bring any of this to the attention of the supervisors at the USPS at the time, due to what I perceived to be their hostility towards the president and their evident contempt of the law.
Pease also said that he heard the same employees joke to customers. They asked who they voted for and referenced throwing the ballots directly in the trash if they were for President Trump.
Directly into the trash.
Another witness, Phil Klein, the director of the Amistad Project, said the Center for Tech and Civic Life, which received $350 million from Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg, reached out to the mayor of Racine in May. He said they donated $100,000 so Racine and 5 other cities could make a Wisconsin-safe election plan, which he claims is different from the election plan of the rest of the state. Klein said the new plan viewed voter ID as a burden to overcome. When one witness was asked if he had filed a complaint with the Wisconsin Election Committee, he answered he didn't because he had no faith in them.
I hate to say this, but we do not have any faith in our election commission.
Christina Kim, NTD News.
And NTD sat down with 2 Chinese-American poll observers for the Wisconsin recount. Both say they had trouble observing because they were too far away.
Xiaochen Zhao helped Republicans with the poll recount in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She says that Democrat reps kept reporting her. One incident involved her taking a picture of a ballot box.
Then you can take a picture as long as you do not get personal information of the voters. Okay, so that guy, as soon as he saw me took a picture of the box, he stood up and then keep on taking picture of me. Well, he's seen that I can take a picture of you, but you cannot take a picture of that box. I can't believe it. They are so mean. Okay.
Zhao says she was too far away to meaningfully observe the ballots.
The yellow line is 6 feet away, and I stand right behind the chair, which is more than 7 feet away from the envelopes. And then plus the envelopes is, when I look at the envelope, all the writings are upside down. I cannot see anything. I cannot see the letters. The only thing I can see is the length of the letters.
She said at one point the Republican rep told her the Democrats were after her and that he better let her go or else they would try to remove her. Another observer, Wen-He Lu, recounts being unable to meaningfully observe ballots.
But in Milwaukee, the rule was 6 feet between the observers and the election officials who check the ballots and the envelopes, and that distance is too far for any observer to be functioning effectively.
Lu also brought up absentee ballots.
Absentee ballot itself is not the right, but is a privilege. You need to apply for it. Therefore, without the application form, the absentee ballot should not be valid. And therefore, from my point of view, if I do not see an application form that matching the absentee ballot, then the absentee ballot should be invalid. And in the 5 days I was there, I've seen not a single one application form whenever the absentee ballot envelope will show up. Therefore, from my end, those absentee ballots should be all invalid.
Poll rooms poorly organized, security lacking, and systems that support cheating. These are just some of the allegations coming out of Georgia State House hearing. NTD's Melina Weisskopf has the story.
Lawmakers combed through much evidence at the hearing, and Rudy Giuliani commented on the video of Fulton County that shows an election official sending people home on election night and blaming the interruption on a water leak.
The important thing to note, so you're not isolated just in Georgia, is that around approximately that same time in Philadelphia, they closed down, maybe a few minutes earlier, a few minutes later.
And one poll monitor told us one of his top concerns was lack of supervision in the adjudication process. A ballot is sent to adjudication when the vote is marked incorrectly or a voter marks a ballot for multiple candidates, which is called an overvote.
And from the election director at Cobb County, from her mouth, we got to confirm that they were having overvotes turning up and they weren't sure why they were getting more overvotes because the overvotes were already supposed to have been sorted out. So you've got blue and black pins on the table. You've got mail-in ballots on the table. We're only allowed 4 observers in that one room. In that room, only one observer in the adjudication room. You're literally only lacking motive, and we know that there's motive. So you can be producing overvotes.
And while adjudicating overvotes and entering them into the system, the elections supervisor can easily change the vote however they wish. That's according to this demonstration by a Coffee County elections official.
Confirm ballot saved, move to next ballot. Okay. So it pulls up the next ballot that needs to be adjudicated.
So you made a vote for someone where someone did not vote?
I did, didn't I?
And this is just one example of how the votes could have been altered by a manual entry into the machine. Along the same lines, one woman shared this photo with us. It shows that only one person is entering the data into Arlo, which is the data entry system. It appears that there is no one observing to ensure the numbers being entered are accurate. And this is the last step before the Secretary of State gets the results to certify them. In light of all of this potential fraud, one Georgian tells us why he thinks the Secretary of State and Governor have refused to put forth all their effort to get to the bottom of these allegations.
Number 2, who wants to be that guy that opens this up, overturning the results? And all of the violence and rioting that would come as a result of this election being opened up as a fraud.
Reporting in Metro Atlanta, Melina Weisskopf, NTD News.
A poll observer in Detroit says he saw poll workers counting and processing invalid ballots. He told us it was almost impossible to challenge the counting process. NTD's Penny Joe has more.
Chris Shornack testified before Michigan lawmakers and signed a sworn affidavit. The day after the election, Shornack was monitoring absentee ballots being counted at the TCF Center, and what he saw there puzzled him.
For example, the ballot will come in, right? And the poll worker, the employee, will take a scanner, like at the grocery store, and they'll scan it because there's a barcode on there, and then it'll pop up on a computer screen, and it'll say, for example, Chris Shornack, and here's his address in Detroit. What I witnessed is they would scan that ballot and it wouldn't register.
He says that's because the name, address, or the ballot number does not match the information on the registered voter list. But he says the poll workers did not set aside these invalid ballots.
So you need to take that, set it aside, and figure it out, put it in the problem stack. They were taking those and counting them anyways, and they would scan them and process them.
Before being a poll challenger in Detroit, Shornack served as the challenger in Michigan's Royal Oak County on Election Day. Out of the 25,000 ballots that were counted there, 10 ballots were spoiled and therefore canceled. In Detroit, Shornack said he didn't see any ballots being disqualified.
Now, Detroit, having 174,000 ballots, they should only have 70 spoiled ballots, but they had so many it wasn't even countable. And it's like, what explains that?
He claims that at each of the 4 counting boards he monitored, up to 80 ballots that didn't match the voter info were processed anyway. Shornack says he also wasn't able to raise the issue to poll workers there.
We weren't allowed to ask questions. If we did, we'd get harassed, yelled at, berated.
He said he only succeeded at making challenges twice, even though he saw many more irregularities.
And then the worst thing in the world that happened is the other poll challengers, if they were Democrats or from the ACLU or these other societies, they would actually say to me, you can't challenge that. And I'm like, look, it's not matching. It's a wrong ballot number. They can't find it in the computer system.
Schwarneck said by defying the rules, election workers in Detroit were disenfranchising his vote and voters in other areas of Michigan. That's why he's talking about what he witnessed.
I don't want to do this for a living. This isn't my job. I do construction for a living. And I want to get back to my day job. But I've realized that now is the time to stand up and speak out. A lot of people have called me brave. I find that a little insulting. Since when is it brave to tell the truth? What a sad state of America that, wow, you're brave because you told the truth. Well, okay, but that's what people are saying. So get involved. Don't let this go, or we're going to lose our whole country.
Penny Zhou, NTD News.
Hi. We're happy to announce that you can also catch us on cable TV now. Millions of households already chose us as one of their trusted news sources, and you can too. You can watch us in Chicago, Washington, D.C., New York, and everywhere Verizon and Frontier Fios are available. And if your system doesn't carry NTD yet, you can just give them a quick call and request NTD on your cable provider. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.